Imagine if you could replicate a store-bought biscuit recipe with just a few simple ingredients from your kitchen and they turn out just as good. So if you want to learn how to make these, then just keep watching. Starting with our first ingredient, we will take room temperature unsalted butter. You will need to work in a cool environment to ensure the butter does not go too soft, as it will affect the texture of the dough. If you wish to use margarine, it works well, although your cookies will spread more than those made with using butter. Once you've got it to a smooth consistency, we will go ahead and add the icing sugar or home ground powdered sugar, but make sure to sieve it thoroughly. You can add it all in one go, but it helps to incorporate the sugar in parts to help mix evenly. Whisk it well until light and fluffy. This is a crucial step to get the cookies to have a light and airy texture, so do not skip it. Once that's done, we will now go ahead and add the dry ingredient, that is the all-purpose flour. At this point, I strongly suggest to add it in batches to avoid over-mixing. Start by gently using a spatula with a cut and fold method as shown here. Go ahead and add the rest of the flour, and finally bring it all together with the help of your fingertips. Avoid your palm as the heat from it can melt the butter in the dough and will make it greasy. This is the rough texture we are looking for. Once done, we will set that aside and bring in another clean bowl. And take a little less than half a portion of the dough into it. To this we will add the cocoa powder. Mix it in gently until almost all the dry powder is absorbed. Once done, we will add the coffee extract, along with a teaspoon of room temperature milk. You can add the coffee powder in place of the extract if you like. Now the milk helps to add moisture to the dry cocoa powder in order to incorporate it into the dough, but make sure to add it in parts. So I've used 2 teaspoons, but you can add as per the consistency of your dough. It should be just enough to help work with the dough easily. Bring it together into a smooth, even tone of chocolate dough. This looks perfect. And to the white dough, we will add the vanilla extract, along with a teaspoon of milk. Now the purpose of adding milk here is that since we are not adding any eggs in this recipe, adding the milk helps to give just enough moisture to make the dough pliable enough to work with, just like a Play-Doh. Now that's ready to use. Now comes in the fun part, so bring in your little ones for this, and I'm sure they'll love the activity just as much. All you need to do is roll out the dough into a thin sheet. Aim for the thickness of a flat bread. But don't worry, this isn't about a perfection. Simply roll it out gently until it feels even under your fingertips. The beauty lies in the process, not the precision. Now if you're looking for a whole wheat option, you can totally swap it out. It works beautifully, adding a nutty flavor to the cookie. And that's the best part about home baking. Every batch might look a little different, but even without preservatives or perfection, they taste just as good, or maybe even better. Now coming back to the recipe, we will take a cookie cutter and dusting it with flour to ease out the cutting, simply stamp them out. Get as many as you can. And there's no right or wrong when it comes to how many cookies you can get out of this batch. What matters is that there's no wastage. Next, we will take a small dish, dust it with dry flour to hold all the cookies as we pile them up. And taking my favorite tool, the bench scraper, we will simply take each cookie and place them onto the plate, alternating between the 2 doughs. This is honestly my favorite part, stacking up these beautiful cookies like edible artwork. And here's a fun tip. If you want more defined stripes, just roll each layer a bit thinner before stacking. You can even switch up the flavors. Think cinnamon, cardamom, or even lime for that fresh twist. That's the magic of this dough. You can make it your own with the possibility of flavors to go with. Every batch can be a little different, and that's what makes it so much fun. We'll be using up every bit of that dough, so go ahead and shape and stamp it until it's all used up. And don't worry about the cracks. They'll work just fine without showing up in the cookies. Now carefully transfer the whole stack of cookie dough onto a sheet of parchment paper. Wrap it up into a neat log. Make sure it's tight enough to hold its shape. This little bundle is going into the fridge for about an hour, just until it firms up. Once it's ready, we need to be careful not to bring it back to room temperature, so you will need to work with it quickly. Now slice it in a way I'm showing here, holding your knife diagonally to the log. And don't worry about the small pieces, they can be baked too. Just make sure you get the thickness right to ensure even baking of the cookies. Here's a closer look to the thickness that we are looking for. Simply place them onto the baking tray lined with the parchment paper. They don't spread much, but make sure to leave just enough space between each to allow them to bake evenly. This will go into a preheated oven for about 12 minutes, but make sure to keep a watch. Perfectly baked with a slight tint of golden yellow on the top. And here are the rest of the cookies from the dough. You can get up to 22 such cookies from this batch. Perfectly baked with an ever so light browning on the bottom as well. Give it a try and let me know what you think. And write to me if you do switch up the flavors. I'd love to hear from you. And if you do have a query regarding the recipe, do let me know in the comments below. Time to see how they've turned out on the inside. Perfectly crisp, and the aroma of the baked cookie just fills the room with the warmth, the kind that everyone wants to gather around. I hope you enjoy baking them. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.